What if I told you that the idea of a soul, an eternal, unchanging essence of who you are, might just be a comforting illusion? In a future where we can replace every part of a person's brain, piece by piece, the very notion of a soul becomes harder to defend. Today, we're going to explore a mind-bending thought experiment that could be the proof you've been looking for. Proof that the soul doesn't exist. Let's start with a scenario straight out of science fiction. Imagine a person whose brain has been damaged in an accident. Doctors replace the damaged part with a donor's brain tissue, and the person wakes up feeling like themselves. Same memories, same personality. But what if, over time, more parts of the brain get replaced until eventually, every part has been swapped out for donor tissue? Who is this person now? Are they still the same individual, or have they become someone else entirely? And more importantly, what happens to the so-called soul during this process? This thought experiment isn't just a question of identity, it's a challenge to the idea that our consciousness or soul is something separate from our physical brain. It's reminiscent of the ancient philosophical puzzle known as the Ship of Theseus. The story goes like this. If you replace every plank of a ship one by one until none of the original planks remain, is it still the same ship? Similarly, as each part of the brain is replaced, piece by piece, the continuity of the original person is put to the test. But if the soul existed, wouldn't it remain unchanged despite these physical changes? Or does the absence of any noticeable soul during this process suggest it's nothing more than a myth? For centuries, philosophers and theologians have debated the existence of the soul. Some argue that it's the soul that makes us who we are, a unique essence that survives beyond the physical body. But if identity can be altered, even erased through brain transplants, what does that say about the soul? Could it be that our sense of self, our personality, our very identity, is entirely tied to the physical structure of our brain? Consider the materialist perspective. The idea that our consciousness, thoughts, and identity are nothing more than the result of the physical processes in our brain. In this view, the soul is an illusion, a comforting story we tell ourselves to feel more than just a collection of neurons firing in a complex pattern. So if we replace every part of your brain, piece by piece, and you remain the same person or change entirely, what does that say about the soul? Does it even exist, or is it just a byproduct of our physical brain, a concept that fades away as the brain itself is replaced? The idea that the soul might not exist is unsettling to some, but this thought experiment forces us to confront the possibility that we are nothing more than our physical brains. When you replace the brain piece by piece, and nothing supernatural appears to maintain the continuity of the self, it becomes harder to argue that a soul exists independent of the body, much like the ship that loses its identity as it loses its original parts. In the end, this experiment leaves us with a provocative question. If the soul doesn't exist, then what are we? Just a collection of memories and experiences shaped by the physical structure of our brains? And if that's the case, what happens when those memories and experiences can be altered by something as simple as a brain transplant? Just like the Ship of Theseus, where identity becomes a complex puzzle, so too does the human mind. So do you believe in the existence of the soul? Or does this thought experiment make you question everything you've been taught? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive deeper into the mysteries of the mind together. Thank you for watching. If this video made you think, made you question, make sure to subscribe to Thought Experiments Unleashed. Together, we'll explore the fascinating, sometimes uncomfortable truths about our minds and our existence. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring.